Listen, we got a lot of stuff going on. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, listen to this, reiterated Monday that the state's rejection of a proposed nationwide advanced African-American studies course, saying that it pushes a political agenda. And he also said that we want education, not indoctrination. It was revealed last week that the Florida Department of Education recently told the College Board that it would bar the course unless changes are made. And on the line, we got right now the one and only Bakari Sellers to break it all down. CNN political analyst, attorney, and author. Bakari, good morning.
Good morning, Ricky, man. I want you to know I had my phone by the radio. I was using that Jodeci to set my my voicemail music up. So thank you for that this morning, man.
Yeah, that used to be the joint back in the day. Bakari, I got to ask you off the top. By him being the way he is, he's like a miniature Donald Trump or whatever. Is he hurting himself politically?
So the answer is yes and no. I mean, by taking a step such as this, he's actually improving his stance with Republican-based voters, which is going to help him in a primary. The problem is that he's going to have to pivot if he actually is the nominee back to the general election. And many independent voters, moderate voters, many everyday Americans you see who don't vote in a Republican primary do not like things like this. And so it's a catch-22 for him. He has to do this to beat Donald Trump in a primary, but this type of stuff makes it so much more difficult for him to win a general election.
Okay. And Bakari, could you briefly elaborate on this new law about the banning of African-American AP studies? What is it really about?
Yeah. So it's silly. I mean, it's ignorant. And for me, the difficulty is I always have to explain my blackness to people, and it gets so frustrating. And what I mean by that is there are only 6 topics out of 100 that Florida Department of Education objects to. Only 6 out of 100. So that has to be clear. Those 6 they object to are intersectionality, black queer studies, Black Lives Matter, black feminist thought, reparations, and black study in the struggle of the 21st century. Those are the only objections they have. And so they got rid of an entire course with over 100 topics about our history because of these 6. And these 6, for me, actually belong. You cannot study the last 20 years of black culture and not study Black Lives Matter. You cannot study the March on Washington and Bynard Rustin, rock and roll and Little Richard. I mean, all of these individuals who played such a huge role, poetry, writing, and James Baldwin, who are black and gay. And so these things actually matter, and it just showed me how much of a little man Ron DeSantis is, and it's infuriating and frustrating and requires us day in and day out to show that we belong and who we are.
Okay, and also, so the governor, he's saying that African-American history and American history is the same thing. I heard him say that. What's the flaw in that rationale?
Well, the flaw in that rationale is this. In the state of Florida, they have AP European history, AP Japanese language and culture, AP German language and culture, AP Italian language and culture, AP Spanish language and culture. But the only class that they object to is the one that's called AP African-American Studies. So, listen, I ain't a genius by any stretch. I'm from a small town. We got 3 stoplights and a blinking light. But for me, something ain't right in the milk.
Yeah,
Bakari,
go ahead.
Oh, no, I just wanted to know your thoughts on this whole classified documents situation. I feel like, every week we're seeing this come out. What is the deal with that? And is it common for presidents to leave office with classified documents?
The answer is no, it's not common. I suggest you and Ricky and everybody else look in your house for classified documents. My initial thought is I swear I hope Barack Obama is sitting by a fire burning anything he may have.
Okay.
Because if he got classified documents, they're going to roll up on him and snatch him up and throw him in a gulag. So
Right.
I hope he is sitting there with Michelle drinking some wine and sitting by a fire, if there are any in his house. No, I think it's extremely sloppy for all involved. It's very difficult to get classified documents outside of secure locations. I think that in the case of Mike Pence and Joe Biden, it's probably very innocent. Still sloppy, very innocent, though. I think with the obstruction and willfulness to take that Donald Trump had, I think all of these situations are vastly different. But we'll see what the special prosecutors say.
Wow. So there's no law. Now that they found documents at Mike Pence's house, or whatever, it seems to me like whoever in charge of getting the documents back to the not the FBI, but the where the documents belong. There got to be thousands and thousands and thousands of boxes of paperwork, being that you're running the federal government. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I think what you're saying is, Democrats and Republicans alike, Northerners and Southerners, Eastern and West, black and white, all think that we should have a better retention system. Like, how are these people just walking out with top secret documents? Like, if it's a top secret document, there should be a mechanism in place whereby it is scanned in to a system when it's deemed to be classified or top secret, which is one of the connotations of classified. And then when that document leaves, it should be scanned out, and you should be able to see what is there and what's not, who took it, etc. I mean, I don't understand why that is so difficult. I mean, I just feel like, for me, that's a fundamental problem to go to what you're talking about.
They were saying that whoever who's ever in charge, or the administration that's in charge of the document, that is way too small, because after a president been president for 2 years, they need to start gathering all of those documents right then, and not after the election like they had been before. That's what I heard on the news.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think, Mike Pence was utterly surprised when they found. But Mike Pence, you're talking about 12 documents, I believe. Joe Biden, you're talking about less than 30 documents over a 10, 15, 20-year period. Donald Trump, you're talking about 300 documents. I mean, it's a totally different scenario with each one. And each one of these individuals voluntarily gave them back. In the case of Joe Biden, cooperated with the FBI coming to his house. Donald Trump actually had lawyers sign fraudulent statements. He didn't cooperate. He didn't want to send them back. And then he said he took them on purpose because they were cool. So,
right.
You just have to analyze each situation differently.
Bakari, thank you so much for breaking everything down this morning. Let everybody know how they can follow you.
Bakari_Sellers on Twitter and Bakari Sellers on IG. I'm always thankful. Every time I'm in the streets after I come on your show, people tell me that they heard me on the Rickey Smiley Show, and I appreciate this exposure and platform and love, y'all.
No, Bakari, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We know you got the babies and you're doing the dad thing, and you take time to go down in the basement and get in the closet and talk to us on the phone.
they right outside. They got their fingers under the door. They don't give you no privacy, but it is what it is.
None. I know they follow you around the house. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for Bakari Sellers. And make sure you pick up a copy of his children's book, Who Are Your People? All right, y'all. Thank you, Bakari. We love you, man. More Rickey Smiley Morning Show coming up.